Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our tutorial session for this evening. Thank you all so much for joining us. For those of you who are new, welcome. And for those, who are coming back for from the last couple of weeks, great to see you again. This is week 3 of our 4-part series on responsible and ethical AI in practice. And a quick reminder that the session is being recorded and will be shared on our YouTube channel afterwards. If you have any questions during the talk, please drop them in the chat and we'll get to them at the end during the Q&A session. So tonight's session is one I think a lot of us will relate to. We talk a lot about building responsible AI, the frameworks, the principles, toolkits, but what actually happens when you try to make it work, inside an organization? That's exactly what our speaker tonight will be taking us through, right? So Ekaterina Stirling, she is a data scientist on the AI and data team at EY, where she spent the last couple of years focused on responsible AI implementation, bridging the gap between technology and regulation in her day-to-day work. She brings over 5 years of experience in AI roles, and her session tonight draws on hard-won lessons from navigating the realities of AI adoption inside a large enterprise. Her talk is called Responsible AI Adoption in a Challenging Regulatory Landscape, and she'll be covering the business, technical, communication, and the learning dimensions that most adoption playbooks kind of leave out. So please join me in welcoming Ekaterina, and over to you now. If you want to share your screen and start.
Thank you for introduction, Toma. I'll just jump straight into insights. Okay. Let me know if you can see my screen. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't see your screen anymore. I see, wait, are you?
I am screen sharing. I'll reshare again.
Okay.
I think somebody just joined, so I clicked admit. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now it's visible again.
It is visible. Okay.
But
Perfect.
it's not like the full screen mode.
Oh, no.
If you want
I'll make it full screen in just 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Is it full screen now?
No, still not in
No.
position.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll reshare again. It's been a bit uncooperative. Okay. Entire screen, share.
Yes.
Are we good now?
Yep. Looks good.
Okay. Let's start then. So Toma gave quite a good overview of my background, so I'm not going to focus on that. And I've been working in responsible AI adoption area for the last couple of years. And this is what I'm going to talk about and the main lessons learned in this journey. And then if you have some questions, I will be happy to answer them at the end of the session. So when we talk about implementing AI responsibly, first of all, you might come across different challenges. And however, there are some quite good guidelines now from Irish government and from other organizations. It's still pretty difficult to find exactly what to do to close the gap between the legislations and between best practices and what you do in practice in your organization. So here are just some common challenges which I have faced in the last couple of years. So first, it's a new evolving legislation, so such as EU AI Act. You probably heard that there is another update that's just coming, and it's not the first update. So we always have to adapt, we have to look out for changes, and it's not something set in stone. So another challenge along with changing regulations is that there is no mature first-hand AI governance examples yet to learn from. So there are some playbooks and some advices, but again, a lot of people raise questions around how do we do it practically in our organizations, like where do we start? So another thing is that new AI technologies land into all the systems. So we have some organizations with some legacy systems or just quite complex processes. And then with the new tech, it can be quite challenging to implement it properly. That also includes organizational AI readiness. Another big challenge is change management and people culture, and I'll talk about that a bit in the next slides. And another challenge, which I suppose is one of the biggest ones, is embedding AI into your day-to-day operations. Because quite often we have separate functions in organizations, and it's difficult to find common understanding of how exactly we implement AI responsibly. So there is regulatory and there is also technology, and as we know from experience, people quite often speak different languages and have different ways of thinking about AI. So that brings us to the next challenge, which is distributing roles. When it comes to AI governance specifically, so some roles might be more suitable for business stakeholders, for project managers, but other roles should sit with technical stakeholders for the better results. And last but not least, adapting processes can also be quite challenging because some of those processes are old, some of those processes are very regulated, and changing them to accommodate AI and AI policies is proving itself quite difficult. So in the next few slides, we will look into separate challenges in a bit more detail to give you a bit of a flavor of what exactly is going to happen when you implement AI responsibly into your day-to-day operations. But here's just a small overview of the first steps to take. So if somebody is only starting to implement responsible AI, maybe because EU AI Act is becoming more important as it evolves, or because we're adopting AI more recently. So those are the very first steps that can help you kind of set up some foundation around what to do. So first and foremost is organizational AI adoption strategy. So why is it important? In my opinion, because it sets this very high level alignment between decision makers on a high level. So, and why is it important? Because it answers the question of what problems we are going to solve with AI and how exactly we are going to do that. And what are our do's and don'ts of like what we don't agree to trade off, for example, for like a greater business value. So this is a very good place to start, is to have those conversations with your stakeholders, and especially it should be cross-functional to have some kind of understanding between technical stakeholders and business stakeholders. To have that very, very high level alignment is important. Again, why is it important? I think because as we go down the line, when you implement technology, and then some new AI models come your way and you update your technology, like bigger questions arise about like how it's going to happen going to future. And if there is no solid ground behind it, if we don't know how exactly we want to solve our problems with AI, then it can create quite a lot of difficulties going forward. But having that background is very, very useful. So another thing is create practical and scalable AI governance framework. Why I'm saying scalable, first of all, because regulatory landscape is going to change. So all your documentation should be, first of all, quite clear on what you're documenting, and it should be possible to update it, and it should be clear to various stakeholders who might be taking it after you later, how to update it. So putting some guidance, putting some policies down on paper is very useful. So next, distribute the role. So that's, as I mentioned previously, there are multiple risks and obligations around AI, which come from EU AI Act, first of all, but other legislations as well. So in my opinion, it's very important to not to just document, but also to define who is responsible for what risks specifically. Because if you create various tiers of those AI-related risks, it might be easier to then monitor and track those risks, because some of them essentially can never go to business. However, from my experience, people don't like the burden of documentation. At the same time, some of the risks can never be fully outsourced to regulatory stakeholders or to project management stakeholders. Some of them will always stay with technology, especially if it comes to cybersecurity, robustness. So those things need to be documented and owned responsibly by technical stakeholders. Next. So another one that I already mentioned is a change in regulatory landscape, but it's worth looking into it in a little bit more detail. So essentially why? Because requirements change, but how exactly do we adapt to the changing regulatory landscape? And in my opinion, the best kind of approach is to stick with your own organizational values. For that, organizational strategy for AI adoption is very useful. And once you set that high standard plank for yourself, it would be difficult for you to go to lower your standards, if you see what I mean. So essentially asking those very high level questions about like, what is the bigger picture? Like, do we do well with AI? Is what we're doing useful to our clients or our staff or industry, Ireland, Europe? So asking those kind of questions, which might seem quite philosophical, maybe. I think it's important because it lays this kind of more permanent foundation behind changing landscape. And again, for example, education and learning obligations, so AI literacy, so they came to power on February 2025. But to this date, for example, I'm committed to providing very, very high standard of learning and development materials to all staff who I'm working with. Because again, in my opinion, if legislation changes and, for example, some requirements are lowered and you're not required to educate your staff about AI, would you really want to stop educating your staff about AI? So that is a kind of question worth asking. Another one is change management. So as Toma mentioned, managing people and cultural shift can be quite challenging. So most of the heavy lifting lies within people and culture management domain here. So, and why is it challenging? I mean, you probably guess yourself, but I'm just gonna go through a few main challenges. So one of them is people's attitudes to AI. So it varies. And then people have diverse levels of AI user proficiency as well. And people have a very different understanding of what AI actually is or how it can be helpful to them personally in their workspace. So managing those things can be challenging because you can have quite a lot of disparity between various stakeholders and decision makers. Therefore, just having those sometimes hard conversations around, again, we are coming back to strategy. What do we want to use AI for? How exactly do we want to use it? Is it bringing the value? So it's vital to continue having those conversations with different stakeholders at all levels. Then another aspect of change management is that internal processes involve multiple owners, and change required to accommodate new AI policies and procedures can take quite some time because it requires change of some very old processes. So it could be project prioritization processes or project initiation processes. So depending on your organization, if you are a small startup, it might be a bit easier. But if you are a medium-sized enterprise or a large enterprise, then those kind of processes, you should just bear in mind that they can take longer than you would want to. But you can be successful also if you proceed with accurately and you talk to people, and if correct decision makers, appropriate decision makers support you. So another thing is the feedback mechanism and usage analytics for your AI tools to identify what exactly people are using, how they're using it, why it is important in this situation, because most times, I suppose, technical people like ourselves, we tend to be a little bit carried away in terms of like, here's the new technology, we want to do something exciting, we want to implement some features. But the very good question is it necessary? Is it useful for our business? Is it useful for our stakeholders? So this is where usage analytics and feedback really, really helps. And I just found that it's very eye-opening and very, very interesting to pull that statistics, to do some visuals, to do a bit of analysis yourself, just get your hands dirty with the data and see what's useful, what's not. So I find that incredibly important. Next one. So another one, it might seem quite small and unimportant, and it's very often overlooked in organizations. Agreed definitions of AI-related terminology. But this is actually one of the showstoppers when it comes to, this is one of the showstoppers when it comes to specifically to AI questionnaires and to responsible AI frameworks. And why is that a problem? It's a problem because people have very, very different understanding of different terms, such as like bias, hallucinations, or even statistical methods. It can be understood Yeah, apologies, I'm admitting people. So, yeah. Therefore, I find that this is very useful to create common definitions at the very beginning when you are setting your framework. Once again, people don't even mean the same thing when we say AI, because AI, again, is widely associated with large language models. But under the EU AI Act, for example, the definition of AI, as you probably know, is way wider. So it can include different statistical systems and complicated solutions. So for that, it's very, very important to have glossaries. But here is another question that comes to mind, is that people don't like reading glossaries. So it's obviously helpful to have detailed questionnaires, glossaries, and catalogs, and having data catalogs is very helpful, but some organizations might be more mature than the other in the data governance space. So it's not always available. It's a little bit more of a luxury. Therefore, I find some small practical tricks, which you can kind of see here at the bottom, which help me convey those definitions to various stakeholders. So if you streamline your AI assessments where possible, use friendly UI and UX. And what do I mean by that? I don't mean completely deprecate official forms and assessments and Excels, but where possible, try to automate something, to create some maybe kind of SharePoint forms or something that would be easier for people to use. And another point is that keep your terminology explanation in the original context. So what do I mean by that? And it's that if you keep your glossary separate, for example, from your questionnaires where you assess AI solutions, then people usually find it quite hard to go to a different source to find some definition, pull it out, come back to your questionnaire, complete it. So that kind of multi-source situation creates more pressure on people who are already doing documentation on top of their normal duties, I suppose, or they're not quite used to those new frameworks. So I just find it extremely helpful if you keep just like a couple of lines, like human in the loop, meaning, means this and that, and you explain that inside your assessment questionnaire. You don't put it into a separate glossary. It's very useful. And finally, for this one is provide initial guidance and sessions to explain terms used and disambiguate some of them with people responsible for completing those questionnaires. So that can be some technical teams, development teams, analytics teams, whoever owns AI solutions in your organizations. It's useful just to connect with people on a human level, to have a very quick catch up, to show them, to give them like a brief overview of what you've got. And then from there, it becomes quite a lot easier for them to understand how exactly you define AI, what is AI under the EU Act, and it's extremely helpful. Right? So that takes us to the next point, which is AI learning and development materials and creating common understanding of AI technologies. So that's related to glossaries, but it's much wider. So in big organizations, of course, you might have some training development teams who might be able to help you with creation of some content. But if you're in a small organization, then you might be working on creating those materials yourself as a responsible AI lead or as a developer. So to promote the understanding of AI across organization, it's very, very important. and to tackle those misconceptions about what AI is, what AI can do, what AI can't do. It's very important to create those materials. And it also helps to create those materials with people's needs in mind. So what do I mean by that? It means that people have different levels of understanding, and meeting them where their need actually is also incredibly helpful. So I suppose educating people generally about how AI tech works is good, and explaining them maybe like where data goes, or how something is sent somewhere, or how the response is produced, or how L&amps work is great. But at the same time, people want to know, can I use it for my daily tasks safely? Can I use it for my solutions? Like, can I use it for code migrations, or can I use it for policy writing or checking and drafting? So those different aspects, which are very, very important. And another thing, I suppose, yes, when it comes to learning, just to keep in mind that people already have a lot of duties. And I think it's just kind of respectful to make sure that those materials are fitting their requirements and what they need to learn and what they need to know exactly where they are. Yeah, so responsible AI by design as well. So the most important component of that is human verification, and that your users use AI for the intended purpose. So that's the most important part. And it can get quite messy quite quickly. Apologies. Especially if you make some customized tools where they're not like a general purpose for queries, but they might be specifically applied to something specific to your organization. Then it's very important to make sure that people understand how to use those tools and what exactly to use them for, and that they don't use them for something else, like, I don't know, maybe some online research. So, and what can help design, embed AI into your organizational design, essentially. So you can provide information to specific teams when we do AI assessments about advised actions and plans of what we need to do. So that can involve 7 responsible AI pillars from the EU Act, and actions should be taken respectively on different stages of development. So, for example, like technical robustness or accuracy might be more important at planning stages or functioning stages. And when your solution is closed, some other aspects might apply. So, and translate the UAI Act requirements into clear action is very important, and it kind of closes the gap between the legislation and what people need to do when they function day to day. So, human in the loop, I mentioned already, and human oversight. It's very, very important. And what usually helps with that is when you embed AI into already existing processes, where human oversight is kind of fundamentally there, and then you put AI on top and ensure that human verification stays in place, that people don't just replace their own responsibility with AI, but they use AI to help them process something quicker, and then they still check everything. So especially it can be important for RAG solutions and things like that, where there are some references and documents. Yeah, and don't treat your learning and development as nice to have, again, because it's very, very crucial that people understand how exactly to use your AI solutions and for what to use them and for what not to use them. It's incredibly important. And create a shared understanding of responsible AI practices across teams. So have those conversations, meet people, talk to them, show your frameworks, show basic requirements, and explain how the process is going to work. And just a few takeaways from here. We will go through them quickly, and I'll try to leave you a bit more time for Q&A. Because I have a lot of material and I didn't know like which topic would be more interesting for you to go into. So we can pick that up during the Q&A. Yeah, so key takeaways for responsible AI leaders here. So how to stay on top of change and non-drown and scale securely. So define your AI strategy and embed core values. So that's very important in a change in regulatory landscape. Design your frameworks for change. So just assume that change is inevitable. Keep your framework scalable and documents easy to update. Research continuously. So that's important just to find out about those updates on time. And define AI terminology. Keep cross-functional communications clear, prioritize AI L&D, and share knowledge, and assign roles and keep AI risk ownership structured. Thank you. If you have any questions, we can discuss.
Thank you so much, Ekaterina, for that session. It was, I think, as you said, a lot packed into one, right? So,
Yes, that's why I'm leaving.
yeah, but also very high levels. I think is really good for us to just get like a general sense of, what responsible AI looks like. So, any questions? We will take questions for the next couple of minutes before we round up the session. If you have a question, please drop in the chat. Or if you want, you could just raise your hand and unmute yourself as well and ask your question. It's so quiet. It's so quiet in the chat. Can we get like a thumbs up so we know everyone is still, everyone's good. The other thing I will just drop in the chat there, the feedback form.
Okay.
Yes, a few thumbs up. Oh, proof of life. Thank you guys so much. Yes, I've just dropped it as well, the feedback form. Only take a few minutes. If you could just help us fill that out before you leave, that really helps us improve. If there's like anything else you would want us to kind of cover, any kind of topics, feel free to drop a comment in the form as well. We review them and we, try to take action where we can. Yes. Ludmila, I hope I haven't butchered your name. But they're saying they think it was a lot to cover, true, but it's very important. It's such an important topic. I agree 100%.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it is like it's a lot to cover and like a lots of things maybe, I would not even think about, like at all. And yeah, is there any chance we can have the slides after the call? Do you share
Can
the
we
slides
send
or?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
yeah, we'll make that happen.
Yeah, and my apologies if it was too much to cover. It's just a lot of information and a lot of experience, especially since the EU AI Act kicked in. I was working a lot on this topic, and you're very welcome to ask specific questions to go deeper into them.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, this is Dongin here from Citibank. Can I also have a copy of the slides?
Sure.
Yeah, we'll send the slides across to everyone who registered for the session.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
or maybe we can, I mean, would you be able to share some insights about what kinds of challenge do you have while you are trying to implement, to implement responsible AI according to the EU AI Act, which is newly launched. So what kind of challenge do you see when you are trying to adapt to the new regulation?
Well, the main challenge is updating your framework. So if your framework is designed to be kind of more static, so that's where things become a little bit difficult if you need to get if you need to jump through the hoops on the way. So that's where things become a little bit difficult. But if you build your framework scalable from the very start, then it's much easier when updates come in. You do those updates, you either make changes to your documentation or you make necessary communications to involved process owners, for example. So again, that's important. Like if some new obligations come in, when people who are responsible for those processes in your organizations have to know, and they might not know. So if you are kind of playing this researcher part as well, AI security researcher in your organization, then I suppose it's a sensible step to contact all those people and to make sure that they know that here is the change, and then appropriate decisions can be made.
Okay. And from the business perspective, where do you think we need to pay attention to? Like, I'm not working on the AI governance. I'm more working on AI adoption, trying to develop use case and driving adoption. So, like, what kinds of the area we need to pay attention to from a business perspective?
Well, from business perspective, I suppose one of the challenging things is having this human verification and human in the
Yeah.
loop at all times. And
Yeah.
especially it's relevant to agentic AI, to those type of use cases. So you might want to consider and review if you have some agentic AI, how exactly it's operating. Is there proper human verification there? Or sometimes it might be like AI approving AI or something. So that shouldn't be the case.
Okay.
That's one of the kind of big challenges that I find recently.
Yeah. Like agentic AI, for the advantage for agentic AI is that it can help to make decisions instead of human. So how would we do the oversights over the decision agentic AI has been made to us? Yeah, that could be challenging. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. And there are no ready-made answers to almost any of those things. Unfortunately, we have to work on it as it evolves.
Mm-hmm.
We have to look into it and look into the legislation or work with regulatory stakeholders who know the legislation better than us. And then find that kind of common place of how exactly we do it, you know. But overall, just prioritizing people over size, human verification, I would say, covers you in a lot of bases.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for your question.
Any other questions from anyone? If not, I think this will be a good place to stop. Ekaterina, thank you again so much. And thank you to everyone who joined us this evening. Brilliant discussion. We have one more session, just a quick reminder, we have one more session in this series next week. Same time, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Hope to see you there as well. If you haven't, reminder, drop a few notes for us in the feedback form before you drop off. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. And if you
Thank
have
you.
any particular requests or topics you want to go deeper into, I'm happy to prepare maybe a session later to go deeper into education or into security, or what is the kind of area that you're more interested in, we can go deeper because this one is very high level.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Katerina.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank you.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.